Sanjin Chodayan Sojin Chonam Lai Chanchun Bardoin Dani Japsun Tajin Jin Soin Jin Be Sunan Jin Dolayan Pensir Sanjin Chombai Shoy Sanjin Chodayan Sojin Chonam Lai Chanchun Bardoin Dani Japsun Tajin Jin Soin Jin Be Sunan Jin Dolayan Pensir Sanjin Chombai Shoy Sanjin Chodayan Sojin Chonam Lai Chanchun Bardoin Dani Japsun Tajin Jin Soin Jin Be Sunan Jin Dolayan Pensir Sanjin Chombai Shoy Semjin Tamjin Dewan Dan Devin Judan Temperin Jurchen
Dungarata
Dungai
Dangai
Jin
Juda
Judan
Chawai Jurche Dungai Mebe Dewa
Tambai
Tambada
Dan
Mendrawai
Midrawai
Jurche
Jurchen
Nyeren
Nyeren Chadai
Chadai
Nyedain
Nyedain
Tanyan
Nyon
Chimbo Lai
Chimbola
Nebarai
Nebarai
Jurchen
Jurche
Chazai
Sanzai
Wadain
Wadain
Chujin
Cheche
Shaban
Shabata
Dain
Jesoy
Yeran
Yeran
Kurje
Kurje
Sowa
Sowa
Yawai
Yawai Chonse
Chonse
Dage
Dagin
Jesa
Jesa
Padange
Tamchen Zobe
Zobe San
Chan
Chengoy Ngoy Soje Beje Soje Medo Tra Re Rai Ling Ye Nye De Jemban
Sanje
Doi
Shindoi
Me De
Midembo
Boa Ye Doge Nandai Shen La Je Bai Sho Semje Namje Samba Ta Lo Ye Che Da Che Che Chong Tu Mo Te Wa Ye Che Je Kor Lo Kor Do So Samsung Dam Je Je Ngo Rai Dong Jen Ger Jam Su Chap Da Ka Drin Song Da Man Ji Ba Chen Che Pam Gan La Men Shap Je Dur Chama Me Ba La Ngo Rab Do Tu Ngo Song Gu Ba Chen Pe Sa Za Ki Chap Sun Je Ho Je Wa Ne Se Ra Dong Je Da Ra Wa Me Pa Ji Su Song Do So Nam Da Ka Nga Se Je Da Su Sem Je Dam Je Lu Chu Son Ro Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Chu Long Dong Ro Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Long Chu Wa Ra So Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Chuva Yi Shi Sun Che Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Tok Hui Da Ju Cho Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Tu Ji Yin Ji Me Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Ten Zhe Tab Lan Ke Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Zhe Se Tan Dong Ten Wa Ra Sen Je Lab Do So Nam Da Ka Nga Se Je Sa Ye Ten Ting Zi Pa Me Re Len Ke Pen Ze She Ram Nye De No Me Chu Gu Se Tum Ju Ten Gu Dab Lan Ge San Sa Hi Zen Ka Lan She Ram Jen Ge Jin Ze Be To De Zi Len La Pu Ja Ru Ten Ba Ku Ne San Ze Ka Ju Rum Bu Chi Lan Ge San Sa Do Jin Chong Chin Te Lo Na Ro To Mar Pa Ma La Chu Chu Gong Bo Ba Ti Sum Chin Ban Ram Guen Ya Ses Kar Ju La Ma Na Lan Ge San Sa Ba Ti Do Jin Chong Ring Ki Chap Da La Ma Kar Ma Ba Jin Kru Kun Jin Chong Ne Se Yir Ban Je Ya Da Na Jir Ma Chile Kun Je Se Po Won Ju Chu Chu Be Je Chong Zhe La Na Jir Ze Je Ke Bin De Don Ra Me Tu Chung Wa Ran Ze Re Kan San We Men Zhe De Zi Sui Rim Yang Lang Ju La Wa Zhe Ma Jung De Chi Ku Yin De Re Min Ze Yong Zi La Ma Je Par Je La De O Mi Chi Je Je Po Rong Na Ti Sa Song Je Gun Ju Ngo Wan Je Rong San Ju Gun Ngo Song Tan Ze Be Za Wu La Me Xiao Lang Ge San Da Song Zhuo We Lo Nan Ju La Jo Na Ma Ya Tong Ba La Ye Ke Do La Dong De Zi Ke Zhe Wam Da Do Me Ye Ke Nam Zhuo Wa Ken Je Da Ke Je Zang Ba Tam Je Ken De Chun De Tu Ba Shu Si Sum Deng A Jian Zha Che Jin Jin Nya Su Me Bong Xiao Ji La Sem Jin Deng Du Niu Do Da Zhen Na Dong Ba Nan Jin Nun Tu Za Do So. Good morning, everyone. Happy to see you all of you here again. So we are going to discuss, to share, and to experience precious teaching of Buddha, which is very important and beneficial and useful for all of life, all of us, for this life and the life after life, and to benefit for all the sentient beings. So, which is very fortunate. And as yesterday, Holiness mentioned, actually every time Great Masters, including Holiness, mentioned we have obtained precious human life. So it is very important word to remind us that lama tham je ke somba nang yi tene ngaso milirumbo chi thubjende pe mesi karwa zombo tene jewa hmala sonam kho mabo sa ya wala tene tene ngarang su tata 담jur chobje de dembe milirumbo chende top tene sangji chomden de 담be chuende nyamse lanje yo ti tsujin de tenkin kite lama jiwo chebarji
As our great masters always mention that we have obtained this precious human being or human life, it is not that something we got for free. It has its lots of merit that we have accumulated from the previous life, which has provided us this kind of leisure and endowment for this time. And we are here and we are meeting great masters as our Holiness Himself. So this is not something easy. So we have to appreciate this.
Katen de la pemba madon sinyon danjo kalanjor song tene damjor chobje de dembe mliru pochinde shindani nyeba kawayimba tene ni sumbike ta tubike danjor mochi teyong tene kanse groko pecho chimboyimba rintang chimboyimba pena pecho chimbo rintang chimbo insurte kanro song yore sine jiwu somje ta tamje jiwu somsina ta me dona jiwu somji ta correct drop go by na drop thungki ti tena milirum bochin res te yamba song de pe thokale khawre song yers
Even in Bodhicitta Avatara or Bodhicharya Avatara, Santideva has mentioned that this life is precious to obtain, and when we are able to obtain this precious human life, then if we don't utilize it right now, then will we get this kind of precious life later on? There is a question mark like this. So in this precious human life, we are able to obtain the greatest qualities. So it is better, because it is not inferior, or it is the place where we can go to inferior to superior.
Yeah, and Shantideva, he said the precious human life which together with like for 8 leisuremen and the 10 endowments or 10 richness that we have obtained. It is very precious and important and very, very useful, something like that, and beneficial. Why? Because we think this kind of precious human life only can fulfill 3 types of person: inferior, middle, and the superior or higher. So meaning, if we want to fulfill, like according to 3, the lower capacity person, like aiming for 3 higher aims, which within this kind of precious human life really can bring that, to attend that. And then second, the middle part of the person's aim is like to just merely oneself to obtain the precious, the liberation, like Hinayana attainment. We think this life really we can bring. And the highest level of the attainment is like Buddhahood. Also, we think this precious human life can bring that. Other than this life, no one can fulfill that wish. Therefore, our precious human life is very, very important and very, very wealthy. Something that we almost can't have unless we are lucky enough that our precious previous life has done good merit, especially the cause of the precious human life is like a practice for morality. That is the actual cause for that. So, therefore, Shantideva mentioned that it is very difficult to obtain the precious semi-life by number, by cause, by example, he have given, by nature of the life itself. So, right now we have that. Definitely we have that. So, we should understand that. We are so lucky to recognize this. We have this kind of information about our precious semi-life, how it is, all right? So, Chen-san, then ngaranzo sanje ki chul chebala tenne then milu rumbo chi shesa and then pe kal cancer rintang chimbo yimba to so nga se hakojin the zamyong pe sonam chimbo res.
That's the reason why being able to practice this Buddha Dharma itself is valuable, and we have to understand its value.
Tate hako chadu tene tak pe sanje ke song rinthangji to so le tene ngarang so milu rumbo chi shesa wanda yang ka chimbo yimba hako chabe jela kare zo gresena tatela sonje ke chu go no kare song yene sen ningbo lengre song yores te milu rumbo chi de ningbo lengre song te shandin dewa ka sen yongda kanse sen yongda jo kalan jor song do kesi ndel ningbo chi le mata ba yena yangjer do tene den rawo chi kokap song bo ra ya te pe kale khores te yimbo song so ti shibe to ne ngo shibe to ningbo lenji te le nga se chang gores.
When we understand that taking this birth as a human being, and especially be a practitioner, Buddha Dharma itself is very precious, then we have to understand that even Buddha has mentioned, when we have this sort of attainment, and if we don't utilize it, we are not going to get this kind of chance again. So we have to be able to get the essence of the human life, or the precious human life.
다 닝보랭 세데 땅아서 가르라고 센 담배 추동 통바 셰바 예나 랑인지 단 닝가 드롭 통게 있지 되네 다 디 드롭 고 호레스 조인 다 가디 차나 영라 메신들 차와 이나 영라 아제와 몽비질 차와 이는 돈나 랑인지 단 닝가 드롭 통게 되네 당하 탐제도 tar 대와 탐제도 댕송리게 컴ponte
So how we get the essence of this human life, if we talk about this, then we are talking about, or when we say benefiting, it's not only about ourselves, but benefiting other sentient beings as well. So when we are able to benefit oneself as well as others, that is called taking the essence of the human life. So we have, it might take maybe not this life or the other, but eons and eons it might take. But if we keep on processing for that, and that's how we are getting essence from our human life.
Tene 다 텐다오키 tene nimbo 타토바티 lembo kokapte ngasol tata yodevares tendengi ta kongdo shibana yipen jonjo non son chetran semomana tiramna lonje kejiramno tamba tar te yi sonjin toye jalam nan jite sono lode thongan jang se den rawo de yong zane yong ya mares pe cha yawa yina ta pena semomana tiram non la nga so ngopo thamje no mathap mamba kana le rob capsula den nangwa ne lo jin chu ne sa ge ja lam se no wan pi de yin da la nga rong su deng yin man den ra o se gra ta jing yin ba ma bo dor de be deng yin mi ga rong ta ma bo dor de be se ni dam be chu la lo kha so ne den ra ji drub ju ko ka ye je de yang je wa homa la sa nam ji so mo bo sa wa tang den jar wa se ji nam ji thu ji sa la le te ni chong ba yes.
So when we say we want to take the essence from this human life, then as Buddha has said in an example that, for example, if the night is too dark, we cannot see anything. But at that time, if the lightning comes, it will show us the path for some while. Just like that, in this life, even though we are so much into the negative emotions and all the negative things going around, but we are being able to be in touch with the Dharma itself is not easy. And we are in touch of the Dharma, which means it is something that we have accumulated lots of merit in the past. That's why, or for the reason of that, we're being able to have this precious life. And it is also the blessing of the Buddha himself.
다 가시 가서 까르바종보 는다고 고갑종보 라데베 늘라 힘보지 레 마타바 이나 테네 마르지 제와 조만 첨송바 이나 테리 야타야 베칼레 카오레스.
And when we have such kind of opportunity, the great opportunity, then if we don't utilize it, if once we fall from this great opportunity, then it is very difficult to raise ourselves up.
우만족과 코로나는 송여레스 강시 로몬족준 트네바 가된 다단점바 마세나 영사롱 영운주조바 텔레스니 강고 로몬조르 손데 다따 라왕여바 고갑여바 닌다오키 투치 푸섬소데 값은 힘보지 레 마타바 이나 힘보는 힘보 담지조니 고갑을 고갑 담지 제네 아시 라랭 따 마타바 이나 야르진로 마타나 마르진 랑차바 이나 양산로 티니 베 korwa chingkhowa cheper de nge songra ol ma lang soma yin ta ya su khondo gres su len do gres.
And even in the Madhyamakāvatāra, it has mentioned that while we have this kind of power or freedom and endowment or everything is here, and if we cannot utilize this precious moment, then once, like when we fall from the cliff, then there is no way up, or it's very difficult to bring ourselves off, or who will or what will bring you up? That's the question.
The pe sarores is clear. It's very clear that we ngase penna rangni chamai bon khoryoli chik tarwa ina tusen dela ani ne tangji yora ngaso taleng ki tukan dela chik mrirum bochi thop de hing bochi le ma thab ina kale maman rawa ina tu hiro khoyo dur tenen rodi ngaso ke hakko thogun wasi jewa jemane jemal somno tongo wa ina mane mama to ke yane yase atido shinda ne kale khawa yin bado halam ngaso khoryo ke ne ton jamble ke ne ton teba ina hakko thogun wasi.
And even when we look around and look ourselves, it is very clear that, while we are having this kind of precious life itself, but if we don't work for it, or if we don't utilize it, or if we just do the things which is mundane and it's not useful, then the degeneration is coming up and the time is going down. All the situations are also getting worse and worse. So we can see that. That's why it's also very clear. If we don't utilize it, then there's no point.
Natsuki teni ta nimbo lengre sistang kon hiechar takas papa dodo ke kahi gasina nimbo lengre sedu ta yashu ti nimbo lenserte sonchok serum bochi am tipa chimbe chul nyomni cheba yena tena tagingi konda labana yiki jiwo cheparchin chi drubza rangyin ningala pen tongke sonji ji kompon rombo chete hamsama to top to gres te yindu.
So when we say taking the essence of this life, that means we have to practice the bodhicitta, the practice of the superior. When we practice this, then it is beneficial for self, it is beneficial for others as well.
Ten takas papa lang aso hejete umanju war tinone trengi ti link dachi yorati jagoyat kansina sonchok sem told you res ngazo jusam he dedu jasi nam chi jusam te ninji send nisme belo sonchok sen jasi nam ji josede trenkas papa ngaso sonchok sem di kola tes he na som se te imba sonsam tene ta ngaso le pe chitang ni karwa zombo imba chepar do talen kaps papa la ten den rawo chila thusam zone nyamni cheji yowati pe mesi kawa zombo res te indi.
Now we are talking about bodhicitta, and we are in the middle way of life, or middle path. We are talking about the Madhyamakāvatāra. Why we are linking is this, because the three causes to the Buddhahood is compassion, non-dualistic mind, and the bodhicitta, and that's why this is the phase of bodhicitta.
Te chidang ta songcho ksem seyate, songcho ksem le chidang ye na, ni yo res, ngobi chan xie jadu, ngobi chan reda. Kudzab songcho ksem to, dandang songcho ksem la yate, tene ni yo res.
And so when we talk about the bodhicitta and about its nature, we can divide into the two.
Te kudzab songcho sen to, dandang songcho sen res.
And it is a relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta.
Tene, ta kudzab songcho ksem te, kande re se na, pe na, kanyin ko, kanyin ko, semche pa ne yindan se yongda zobu songchong de se kherchi no song yore. Yindan do zobu songji ji kampong tapan de bolo dres.
And when we talk about relative bodhicitta, it is that in Prajnaparamita's text, it says, having that aspiration to bring all sentient beings to enlightenment is the relative bodhicitta.
Tate kandrochi som no tong gore sen.
Sorry, member semgiro.
Kudzab songcho sen. Te kandrochi som no tong gore sen na. Ta ngarang ki semchi tamche la penji ta go kindo si. Ro. Ona tene pen ta tong te kandro rendo sen na. Te dungana tamche pa me pa che. Dewa la na me pa che konso le te top go kindo si. Ti lo tong bo yang go gres.
And when we talk about the aspiring bodhicitta, it is that we want all sentient beings to be free from the suffering, and we will do that if we have that sort of aspiration, and that is called aspiring bodhicitta, and we have to have that within us.
Ta sanji ji kampo ten rao je ngi te konso le te go yo na. Ta tombo roni sanji ji kampo rombo chi top go hindo sambe ki ta kunlong sen na ndamba sen na ti ko go res.
And when we want all sentient beings to be liberated, then we know that we have to be liberated first, or we have to attain the Buddhahood to benefit them. So we have to have that aspiration as well.
Te yang pe na sanji ji kampo top je te yang aso nam ji ji dang song je sem che nyam ne che de nga ji pu song ji kampo top go se yan ro de yo ma re. Te kong ta na yang ye sam me ne ma re. Nga song ji kampo top go je de rang jin sem ji tam je ke che de yin se je te yin ji ke na ma san focus on emphasize the zo de pe ke che mo re.
In general, when we talk about generating bodhicitta, there is nothing as such to say, I want to be liberated from this world, because it has always included all sentient beings in it. And that's why it is always emphasized on the others, that all sentient beings, for the sake of all sentient beings, I would aspire to attain the Buddhahood.
Ta te ta wi ku song cho ku sem te tene nga su ki pen na song cho ku sem ku damba len di tene lama ge we shi ni ndun ni tap to da la te ni nga su damba sho tene sem che zo ndo zo ji res.
And we have a tradition of taking vows or bodhicitta vows from the masters.
Relative bodhicitta la
Relative bodhicitta.
song cho sem nyam ne che de tombo song cho ku sem ku damba sho tene sem che ndo zo ne nyam ne zo go res. Dam song cho sem ina tene korong ngo te toni hinji himbo che ji de dam song cho sem ngo ma te sa tombo tikpa chembi ke toni ngosum to bo che na juli che ho re te la tene trawa chuni ji thaba yim ba song sam ko chuni ji ngo ne rang ji thogo yim ba song sam tene chu sa driba jong wa la tene sa tombo thobi toni to bo lo de juli che ho re kap te de ten dam song cho sem te tham ro ya res.
When we talk about the relative bodhicitta, it is that when we take refuges from our master and we generate that. But talking about the ultimate bodhicitta, we have to accumulate a lot of merit, and we obtain that when we attain the first bhumis, or the first stage of the bodhisattva's ground.
Tata kayan ko member song tata kanse kudzub song cho ko semti damba te lengo re sem refuge marko chamro marko tata chi ale tene dandan song cho semti roni ki jula che umba che na ti dona satombo toni to umba che na ti toni ti Tikpa chimbu toni yamba sansan. Hinji ki dani jeje. Toni hinji nimbo jeje pena. Sumba nangji ki tene. Hinji kongre to chosumba. Semjin yendan la ta kanse gre ko. Zub matope hinji jeje yowachi. Tene yongo yores.
So when we talk about the ultimate bodhicitta, it arises in absolute sense when we attain the first stage of bodhisattva. And it is said that when we have that first stage of attainment, at that time there is emptiness and kind compassion or bodhicitta arises at the same time.
Ta nga so kanse kudzop songchok sente ma shedu ndona songchok sente ta ni ta kong sheba yindan to zob songji ji kampo tobje ko lo de res tene ta tenda wo ji songchok sen rombo ji de juli ji samba yina pyan kan de togo yore sena pyan sang ji ma cha ba yob no ni ben jonjo no ma bo ji sang yore de ta ji shuba yina.
So when we talk about generating bodhicitta, it is generally speaking, it is always like aspiring to bring all sentient beings to the Buddhahood, and for that we want to attain the liberation. That's absolutely it. And if we have to elaborate on it, we have lots of example in Bodhicharya Avatara.
It's a benefit of having and practicing the bodhicitta. So that mentioned in the Shanti Deva's book Bodhicharya Avatara. Penna kandu sena ngarang so tagi kong do shiba nang yi ki le to nyamung bi ki yang do jo tu ning man den rao kapo gave so la som no khat tramba yin nan jo ma tho na po dikpa me ge so la rang ngang shok che njong do kap dana la ani kan se gro ko yan roya chance rao chan yo mare ve se na tena kan se ge wa tap chimbo che ge to so chom ni pha yan ro.
So as we discussed before, when we have this kind of life, we have lots of karmic karmas and negative emotion and afflictions and all of these things, and this time is also a tough time. And in this kind of period, if we say, is there any way we can be free from this kind of circumstances, then yes, there is.
Ti kapsula job songji ji kampo thapra sa ba ke samam songjo ke sam rombo ti de nyamne zoba yina tin khorang kanse gre ko pangza nyamola so ba to so yong lamsong pang thog res tene thobza songji ji kampo yong ti thop thog res ti indi songjo ke sam rombo chi de nyamne cheba yina dikpe nyimbo tene gewang shok chimbo yenge tin de tsan yo mar song tan song yores.
And Santideva said, yes, we can really attain that greater things. Then for that, bodhicitta, first, if we generate the bodhicitta, then we can definitely forsake all the negative things and attain all the positive qualities.
Teyang Shantideva kong tsam ji sang yawa ma yin pa kanru kong ta pena kong kanru song de sena sangji shaja tawa pena tawu jarwa nam chi tini karwa dhame tse me pala nyamling chi tab je tong sherab chimbo ki tab je ne tini rawa semchi na la penpa ta dewa malipa nyungpa tong le to nyama pa drapa tam je pongwa la nyimbo yashu kande renda chik ze undu o songju ka sen rumbu chi renda sang kong ki gong ni rawa nam ten yores di penyandi.
And it is not only said by the Santideva. Even if we talk about Buddha himself, he has practiced the path of bodhicitta for eons, countless eons. And for that, he has checked and analyzed these qualities. And he found how we can really liberate the sentient beings from the suffering. Then he found out that the bodhicitta is the way.
The bodhicitta is the only way.
That's why he showed to the humans or people that the bodhicitta is the way to liberate us.
rāngi ki jūli bāti yōng chār, tē nāngi semchīn pāda mē pāla pēn tā, tēne dewa tā tūpa, zoya mē pā tānda tūmdō yōng ki yō na, kār zō kar chēn, sōngchō ku sēm tā, nyamni jī sēn kōng sōng yō rēs.
And Santideva, he himself has stated that if you want to be free from all the sufferings and if you want to benefit all living beings, then you have to generate the bodhicitta.
And he said, if anyone wish to be free from sufferings for yourself, as well as you want to be free from sufferings of all living beings, and plus what he said, if you wish to have ultimate happiness for yourself and to bring that happiness for all living beings, then you should practice one thing, that is bodhicitta. So, and the plus what Shantideva, he said that it is not just merely come out from my idea. It is said and mentioned by thousands Buddhas of this year and the 3 times Buddhas. They have mentioned and they are mentioning and they were mentioned. This is the only way to, bring the ultimate happiness and be free from. Tene yang penyo yamba kare sa ngor sina shawa lake. Chorong songcho sem ko domba zenam do songcho sem ko domba leni domba te pike chimboro. Domba te rongju leni te nyone cheba yena lema thani tene chorong la penyo chimbo ni thogres.
And Santideva has also mentioned that if you start practicing bodhicitta with the bodhisattva vows, then you have 2 kinds of benefit.
Yeah, jigde chorong maine enjoy grace.
The first one is your name will be changed.
Chorong thong te sangcho ko san rumbuchi domba de jul mata ngla chorong sosi jewa njikting ke ta cha khanse gi nyam tha pe semjin 탑자지 라그레스 내가 손초 산rum보치 dom바디 줄리 제마타니 자베세 신처럼 main 쳔보디 란로 그레스.
Before we take the bodhisattva's vows, we are just known as common or normal human being. But when we take the bodhisattva vows, and after that, we are going to get the name of Buddha's sons and Buddha's daughter.
Tene 다용네 엔조르네 인지티 라미치비 사자르죠 세디 갑슬라 저런 송적 산rum보치 dom바디 줄리 제마타니 tene hlaton metong jeba tham je sasawisu jo chacharese.
And when you take the bodhicitta vows or bodhisattva's vow, then you are already worthy of being praised and honored by all the humans and gods.
Pena kap tedul sanam tong yishi je choyong sanji mechapa sanro ko rese di kayin ko songchok san damba jule lema thane chuni sanji mechapa sa ya ko rese.
Then when you take the bodhisattva's vow, at that very period you have already accumulated merits, lots of merit and wisdom.
Pena the songchok san pen on song yores.
For example, Bodhisattva's benefit has mentioned this.
Gongza semjin gangrwa me gangrwa je ko songchok san rumbochi ko damba jule lema thane sochu jarwa sedo jeba thamje ko thongchen be yin ke zainin chin ro gres.
Whenever you take the Bodhisattva's vow, at that very period, all the great Buddhas and Bodhisattvas has already foreseen or being able to, realized that you have taken the vows.
At that moment, jarwa sedo jeba thamje ko thonyen be jisu yerong chen o jikting little songcho samba 산에 는다고 젤라 상초 선반 는다고 해 매네 매네 상초초도 톡제상 세네 혼노베 지스이로 농자 그랬어.
And at that very period of you taking that bodhicitta's vow, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas rejoice that the one sentient being has really come up with a great motivation to be a bodhisattva, and he has joined the sangha or something.
When someone take bodhisattva's vow, at that very moment, the Buddhas and bodhisattvas of 10 directions, they realize that one person is becoming bodhisattva, which is working for all sentient beings. And then Buddhas and bodhisattvas pick up that person's place, name, and they mention to everyone, and then every Buddhas of the 10 directions, Buddhas and bodhisattvas of 3 times, will rejoice with that act. At the moment where they rejoice with their great wisdom and compassion, you accumulate immense, countless, immeasurable merit. Yes, that is mentioned in the text and by Buddha, not just I'm saying. So, although we don't know, the great masters always mentioned if you take bodhisattva's vow and you practice, you will get lots of merit. Then we always think, wow, why? I'm a very simple person. How can I get? So these are the things that, they're hidden for us, but behind there are reasons. So these are the teachings that mentioned in the Bodhisattva's benefit. Therefore, the bodhicitta is the only key to the enlightenment. And it is said that, the seed of all the future Buddhas and the great part of all the 3 times Buddhas and the actual cause of enlightenment is the only bodhicitta. So therefore, if we practice bodhicitta and we admire someone is taking bodhicitta and practicing bodhicitta, we will get lots of benefit. Very, very good, we can say. So, then Shantideva ke pinga shi yayores Sangcho Sangpyan.
And Santideva has said some examples for exemplifying the bodhicitta.
Kasi chorang ke Jula Sangchok Sen Rinpoche de Yoba Yina Dikpa Tsapchimbo Kandos is a Yava Yina Yang Tandog Song Yores, Pen and Nimbit Dikpa said Halam Jachan Namasan Jatam and Revnyong Inki Nimbit Dikpa Tandasa Yonayo Sangchok Sen Yomni Chebayina Tatog Song Yores.
Santideva has said that even if you have accumulated so much of negative karmas, but if you generate bodhicitta, then it can eradicate those negative actions result as well.
Penna Dikpa Shindam is a Sena Yom, Palatan and Jibo Timber, the Conant in the Uji Georgia Telepachi and the Chimity Consol Sena, Pecha Yavayina, Mecheke, Nipa, Zap Chimbochi Chene, Kola Nipache, the Sony, your death penalty, which Pachi Young Goyanda, which is Zoya by Yina Young, Tenitiki. Sunchop zonki bodyguard ramasan pop chimbochi tenne and rovayina the me pajuk danda uchi yoro tiki no pasu matapa kosul gor matapa no top cigarettes.
For example, if one person has committed such a great crime that he is worthy of being killed or to be executed, but if he has someone powerful with him, he can survive that.
Likewise, Chorong le zap chimbosa and Chenkovare, the Lapper the Nansong Yavala Soba Chevelesa, Yoba Yina, Soncho Serum, which in Yomi Cheva Yina, then young Gujumares, Halam young Gujumares, Cassie Sipan Tazong is young Kiba Yina, Taj, Polong Daba Yon, the Tandros on Ben Nansong. Some Rawachi Jeguki, Yaran Jeguki by Yinayo. To Tung on the Chitsam Chen, ya Tarogres, Soncho Sandwich, Garden.
Likewise, if you have committed or one had committed so much of negative karma that he or she has to be in the lower realm or in hell realm, then if one person takes the bodhicitta's vow, then he can rescue from that lower realm, or even if he or she has to take birth there, they don't last for a long time, they can immediately come up.
Then a young mangi with Dikpar Nimbun Juba song, pen mangi in a lay, that zapchi travel my ra, in a lay, don't Pachang Mobosaya, tin draw, then Patapar Seba Lion, son chok San Rombochinta, pen Messil Kitchen Bores.
And for all sort of negative karmas, to purify them all, it is always said that the bodhicitta is the best remedy.
Pen a tin me yi song, Carwan Jikbet say, Nangasunam, you made do church say and donna me, the think of concession, Natsar Sadora Dalasoba, Rambayan to say to song yara, Chicho Mahab. Or Petty in the last on Chosan Rombochi, the Tintin, men on you can never chamber in Basonson. Tini teaching Yamne Chebayena, Langing a Pacha, Mambo Chik Tandogres.
And as it is said that at the end of the kalpa or at the end of the eon that lots of destructions are going to happen. In the same way that if we have the bodhicitta, then we can eradicate all the negative karmas as well.
Oh, that is on Chosan, a parent, thinking parent the channel by catching what is a sinner, parent the shin somebody, draw a legores, oh, Jadon, the monkey and change your nansha, you know, that's on Chosan. Junjo song Tadi, Tombonity and Motozo, Recap the Yankee, Halam Hakota, Yinayon, Shinki Nala, Tensura, remind the Manchipa, Comanonke Yunayon, Shin somebody, draw a chigrela, Annie, Natsuti college, she Java, give a piece Ayagres, take your teaching lines.
Basically, we are talking about the benefits of bodhicitta. Even though you have already heard and maybe many of you know about this, we are just reminding you that there are lots of benefit of having this bodhicitta. Because when we understand the benefit, it creates interest and it gives us motivation to act on. That's why we're talking on this.
Yeah. So because of that reason, I'm sharing with you benefit of bodhicitta. It's very important. We will get lots of benefit to know, if you know about the benefit of bodhicitta. And some of you maybe already realized or know about this because you already studied about Shanti Deva's book, Madhyamakāvatāra. The first chapter mentioned about all of this, right? And some of you may not heard about this benefit of bodhicitta. And then you will know and you will realize this. So because of this reason, then I'm talking about, a benefit of, I'm sharing with you the benefit of bodhicitta. And another reason is that if we talk about it, if we think about it, and we share about benefit of bodhicitta, for sure we will admire, we will rejoice, and we will be happy with that. At that moment, we accumulate a lot of merit. So, therefore, because of that reason, I'm sharing with you. And plus, particularly today, our topic is bodhicitta. Yeah, sorry, actually, I'm interrupting the translator. But he's so kind and, Sometimes, if translator is not kind, if the speaker take away his mic, then they will say, okay, you do, then I will run away. But he's so kind. 다 성초샘때 딱 평양 걸때 너도 지에 차례스 되네 성초샘다 거접 성초샘때라 되네 예나 니여레스다.
So basically we have now learned about the benefits of bodhicitta, and especially if we have to talk about the relative bodhicitta, then there are two.
And pen jonjo no soma nang yiki rowande don royi sera jiji shebarata de yin kebende ni sera yin shebarsa soma nang yiki penna ta tel ni de memba don jubares tene memba soncho semshi sawa tene semchi thamche ji tan do zobu sonji konpo topande be lo tres ndombate.
And just as Santideva has said in Bodhicharyavatara, the wishing to go and going itself, just like that. This is basically when we say aspiring bodhicitta, it is like wishing to go.
And members, Jupa Semchi, Ti Che Dola, then Lam Nyams Lambatres, Tipachimbulan, Penam, Paradosumba Trupo, Nyams Lambatawares.
And going itself is the practical way of practicing the aspiration that we have.
Te Chedu, then Teletene, Petion, Drova and Debaton, then Musalam and Drova Tower Yins on yours.
That's why it is said aspiring to go and going itself.
Ota Tene, Te Tayuk Sonjuk San Rumbochi number Ninti, Ronju, the lane Sana, the Domba Ronju, the lane, Nyams Lembayena, Nima Tene Zantela, Tene Choronla, Paya Sanjamachapa, 2 years, Toblo to the country, Sena. Tene zone ni lo kon pa me jo so na shu jim che ba to ma kin na ka kon rap ton jang chun ju no so ba na yin ni ma tene za lo chorong ni so ma yin na da ba me pa cho se ne pen na sen ba yin so ma la so ba ka re cha so ma yin na so nam ji shu de ko rong ren ba yin de multiply cha ne pen do gres.
So when you take the bodhicitta's vows, then from that very moment, when even you are sleeping or you are awake or you are distracted, your merits are always going up and it's growing in a compounding way.
Oh, and then that thing that watching at Sonchok San Rumbochi, that pen chimbo yin back. Then give around you can pen donkey. Go to Mato, Halam, Domba Jewel Lane Sani, gave a yaje pen donkey in there. Then Missili King on Sarchimboki, can't say gray, tapji race, the Tumba Shachatoving us all, cutting Chimbigon at Yambares.
And having this sort of bodhicitta with us itself is miraculous because it's beneficial, it's amazing, and it is always being helpful to us. So it's such a miraculous thing that we are able to have this.
And Shachatova Sanje said, cutting Chimbores, and that's on the road to Motor Chiamati.
And Buddha is immensely kind to let us know or let us have this sort of understanding or the knowledge.
So beneficial to us, Buddha Shachamani. Sanje Shachatova and Rauji, Remato King, Arang, Jiting Gatola, Laton, Loton, Nubjinton, Drums and Royatandona, Laton, Loton, Transon Lasopa, Suchik young, Mato London Rachi, Yore, Sancho Sense, a pen, Chimbo, Nyamlin Chen, thank you, John Yomaris.
If we see, it is only that Buddha, he has shown the path of bodhicitta or bodhisattva's way of life. There is no other masters, no other hermit or any great masters in past has ever shown us that the efficient or importance of the bodhicitta.
Great master means the worldly beings like God, devas, nagas, rishis. None of them could mention to the others. No need to speak to others, but for themselves, they don't know about it. So, therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni is the Buddhas are so kind to us, and they're very, very beneficial for each and every living beings. Then, Latong Loto Tongson Pa Yoshudra, Patong Mataso Kayon, Susipojula, Zewachimbozo Yorete. Then the idea Sonchok Semse and Yomin Zoga Sayati, two non Lapshigamares.
It's not only about the God.
No more.
Yeah. Even our parents, even though they love us so much, but they don't have the idea of bodhicitta or Bodhisattva's way of life. That's why they cannot teach us really how we can generate this sort of bodhicitta.
Unless you are Buddhist and learn about it, then maybe you will tell, when you tell your child, may my child will be enlightened, you should practice Buddha. Otherwise, normally, no one knows about this. At the best, the parents, they can say to them, oh, my child or children be good educated, get good result, get good job, and good lifestyle, something else. Not more than that. But Buddha is so kind, saying that, may all living beings, without single exception, may all they be free from suffering and cause of suffering. And also Buddha's mentioned about the bodhicitta itself. So they are so kind, right? Therefore, having this kind of idea within our mind, is something that said, in Shantideva, he mentioned that the wish-fulfilling trees in the Devas, God realm, that grow in human realms. So, something like that. Then, that part of my part, so that's what Cheshires, so Pama like several loyalty, but so
Not only our parents, if we see, then it is us who seems to love ourselves the most. But still,
so Rani Kayon Tan, then the chewing the so love young Jenny, though Lepano, the idea and the rats had to get a Kakaramato, same time, Malam Tayon, then goes on the Payo, Malam Tayon, Son Chok San Rumboch in Dendra, Yamlin Chia Yovatan, the name Dindra, some let me know your mother, the Yak song, you're still red on us, Yamyon Kitara.
So, when we talk about ourselves, now maybe we have heard something about bodhicitta or bodhisattvas, then we might have a little bit of idea. But for example, if you just don't have this kind of education, then you cannot even imagine about it, or even you can't even dream about being so much beneficial for all living beings. There is no existence in our own self. So this is what we should understand.
Tati Sonjo Sam Juko Radus Res, Tineta Yamlin Che on the Naso Tassom Tonte, Kandrunda Chitong Gresena, Tapena Tombo, some Naso Yarjetong, built up Zogra, Godi, okay, Tangi gave it our Chechong, Kandroji Saba Yina Yang, Sonjo San Rumbo Chiti, Mepa Yina, then Sonji Component Jol and Jogo Mendo, Sonnet Tihako Gres Tombo.
So how do we develop the idea of bodhicitta is that we have to know the preciousness of it, and we have to develop that for the sake of all living beings. I want to generate this bodhicitta, and I never I would never lose the essence of it, or I would never lose the bodhicitta itself.
So it is like this. Earlier, I mentioned all about the benefit and how it is and what is the bodhicitta means and the categories is all right. So now, we will discuss about how to practice it in day-to-day life, right? So first, what we should think or understand is that, okay, whatever good deeds, merits that I do, doesn't matter its size, who is small. But without bodhicitta, there's no way to get enlightenment. Whatever accumulations that we do, without bodhicitta, it will not be cause for enlightenment. This is very important to have in our mind. First, 다 성조 생활보지 맨나 성지지 공부 톱도시 맨도 대임바 손선 개와 체타 가르사바이나라 탄나 엄마는 빼면 항세 차징된 봐요. 되는 초땡이 제일 꼬라지 잡아이나요. Then Sancho Casarambochi, the Tombun, the Yogohindo, Somni, Semley, two Judo, Yone on the Tensu Chene, Lunga Kale, Chimbo Jatsawati, Tanyaba, Panto, Chimbo Yobaji, Young Gubayamba Samsam, then Sancho Casan, the Yogohi, Sonny, Yone Yondola, Samnon, Somon Kogogres.
So, when we realize that we cannot attain Buddhahood without the bodhicitta, when we have this great realization, then no matter whatever kind of practice we are going to make, even for just saying one time Om Mani Padme Hum, or even making one kora or circumambulation, we call it, right? So no matter whatever kind of good merits we are going to do, before that we have to generate the bodhicitta, and we have to remind ourselves again and again that no matter whatever kind of practice we are doing, but we always carry that bodhicitta within us.
Pecha yawa ina nga su joyo yon stapen do de na somba na yin ro ndo roncha nyando ku jolam khare che ba ina yang soncho sem ke jisin soma ina lunga jisin na son nyam do soncho sem nyam ne yo ba yin jo pa tanje sonji kompoto je jolen jun ro gres.
So according to one another text, it says like, even while you're walking, you're sleeping, you're sitting, or no matter whatever you are doing, if you connect that with bodhicitta, then you are always accumulating the merits for the sake of attaining the liberation or the Buddhahood. And everything that you do becomes the cause of obtaining Buddhahood.
Pecha yawa ina 저런 칼라사활 로버츠나 양 근데 칼라사디 값을은 로와 샘진 탐제케 안 로와 샘지 소도 수이나 양 근데 칼라사야 마란킨다고 주고도 냠타바테스 체도래 인 상연다고도 로와 칼라드 코로 디체도 인 상연 샘지 장보서연다고도 디텐더 포인트 제 양문나 나랑 그 룬든 소고인도 가르친 소고인스는 로와 샘진 탐제 성지지 감봉 그와 너나 펜타야 체들라 룬든 초고와 임바 선사 대체도 사가요 선반다 단다 니라 단다 선발에나 되는 칼란데 간세고 사준데 사만데 따와 사진데 땡엔진지 세len 존로와 쇼세 땡엔지라 food of samadhi 세그라 땡다와 찬로와 쇼선 샘제서 자와이나 사마코로 개와 차사레스.
So, for example, even while we are eating, if we generate bodhicitta, it is like we are eating for the sake of all living beings, and especially we are eating because we want to be alive. If you want to be that beneficial person towards all sentient beings, then you have to be alive, and for the sake of that, you are eating. And also, the third example is the food of samadhi. That means this itself is giving me the realization. So for all the reason, if we connect that with bodhicitta and eat, it's much more beneficial.
믹스에 다 삼마사디 따따티르다 로와 샘지 칼라 마랑케 요라 냠타파 대단함지 체들 사기 연로 감로 미반로 체고레스 대가 페인도 도그레스 되네 어딘다오도 대가능 이게 빼나 성여를 생각서 남지 야만도 gond다오 체바이나 로와 샘지 탐지 이제 타와 담보 고체인 says God draw open the door of the liberation 세그라오 딘다오지 건홍소 야바이나 톰로와 쇼스 되는 고마 자바이나 로와 샘지 탐지 그 코방행성 그 자가인 선텐도 미빠서견에 샘바 정보래 늪바 침보 되는 타마 고제 야치 마자와테요 손지지 컴포터지 존존도 그레스.
And especially while we are eating, we are always thinking that I'm eating for the sake of all living beings, because it is connected all, right?
Not all living beings, particularly someone that doesn't have food, problem of poverty, like people we can see, someone doesn't have any food. And so I'm particularly eating for them. May it be behalf for them, may it be for them. It will really benefit and accumulate a lot of merit because out of your good heart.
And even in case of opening and closing the door, when you are opening the door, that you are opening the door for the liberation of all sentient beings. You are visualizing in that way. And when you are closing the door, you are closing the door of all the lower realms or all the negative or cyclic existence. You are closing that. So if you
you should think like that. When you enter into the hall like this, if you open the door, may I open the door of the liberation for all living beings, right? And when you close the door, you think that you make wish that may I close the door for all living beings, for samsara, particularly 3 lower realms. So it's easy, not difficult. Problem is we don't do it, and we didn't put the habit for that, right? But actually it's not difficult, just thinking, right? So doesn't mean that you have to open slowly, like motion, open the door and then close the door. Because so many people, it takes time. But these are the, in one of the Buddha's teaching texts mentioned. This is very good. Actually, day to day, every moment we can accumulate a lot of merit if we know how to do. The problem is we don't know and we don't do much. Don't do this. Then, the namju ngaso ke mitsi nang che yora. Sawaji drubdi mirti zosatila yeyores.
In general, if we talk about our life, then whatever we do in our life, there is a base.
Ti yeyores yebode karesena pena yana tsindel mi yozo hores ngase. Yamana jewa jemares yona nga tawa tsam thogusangres.
So when we do any sort of activities, it is especially we aim for this life. If better, then we think for the next life, and if better, we think for the liberation of self, and if we think even better, then we think for the benefit of all living beings to be attained Buddhahood, or we think for the enlightenment of self.
Ti yekanone ta mir yendo ngasa mir yekanone mi somte tambo samde jon yores ti mi ndropa ina yang jasija jon de bares.
And as we have 4 sort of motivation or the aim, the three of our aims has its defect.
Kansena tatoki kanseko kun jorwado jiba ko subject to change in the self ra dangan ti imbasonsan jowa imbasonsan tatok ne to mention tatoki kanse gro dechi on tobza jon kunse yontin kunde mimba sonsan mir tombu sumchala jon do chebare ti ndorche tobzo gogres ngaso tikpa chimbi chunyane be.
As 3 of the motivation or 3 of the aim when we do our activities has its defect, and especially it is subject to change and it doesn't give the ultimate sort of result. That's why we should try to avoid those as much as possible.
And
the best is that we aim for the Buddhahood or the ultimate result.
Then wrong drop, yink drop, neck up drop, tato drop. I should do this.
And if we aim for the ultimate Buddhahood, then start to act accordingly, then we will benefit ourselves, we'll benefit others in the same way. We will be benefiting ourselves in the moment and also benefiting in the ultimate.
Jenzang, then a good dubza yapo imbachela. Kange yo mares son kanse kale chimbo mares ti somno te tandu sonji ji kong mi pa yina ndikte indi chi indi dra ndarwa ni chongba ta chong sonam kle ka le chong te le lagre singona chena.
If we are smart enough to know, then it is much easier to think and act in that way than acting like, it's my family, it's my enemy, it's my this, it's my that. If we think about this, then it is much more easier to think in an ultimate way or thinking for the sake of liberation.
Kesi chorong kulung ti ta sonji ji kong to ke miro yin ti lalen tar ba yin ja cha ja then semje se ya to malam se ya to nuba chimbo yimba songsam sangje thogres sangje thoba yina then dai kong de laba no gira sangje chade phen sangje ma cha ba pe na sangje ku chu jik song du na semje zhang me ba la phen tho sa pen yores logic.
So, when we have an aim for the Buddhahood, then if we have real motivation to act on it, then we will definitely be able to liberate it from this world, or we attain the Buddhahood.
Sangji ji kong top chaba yina tene pendya pe yores pen sangje ki chu tu re re song de semjin dang song mong bo da jong bo kong top so se yan do to sa top so se yan do to tene ko wa le tar so se yan do pe lo ju mong bo yores tin de sangji ji kong top so ba yina pen sangje ma cha ba.
And when you are able to attain the Buddhahood, and after that, there is immense benefit, because just by one teaching of the Buddha, it benefits so many sentient beings. Some becomes arhat, some becomes foe destroyer, and in the same way, that benefits many living beings. So that is immensely powerful.
Pe cha yawa yana sangje ku sangje chade sangji ko le wazir jeng chhu de wazir ren chhu yong ba cham chi tane semji mong bo nge song le thar ning thori le ke yawa thori le yobe semji mong bo tane tharwa thop song jin ra pe loji mong bo yores.
And there are lots of stories that just by the light radiance of the Buddha, it has liberated so many beings from the lower realms, and as well as the beings in the middle has raised up to the arhats.
Pe na undi uman jibo corona song yor ma chmena kan song re sin sangje se sawati ne pe nuba chimbo top chimbo malam tasim ba yimba song sam tu se tung tang je ge no ne semji zhang mong bo jik de ne pen ta ni yan ren to yores ta bo kong pol ke ne pe kar ya ro se na zombul leng di ke ta sai dur zhang ka le ma ma je de ne sangje ge chu re re song den ren ze on de tu se tung tang no ne de ne
And in even Madhyamaka, it has said that Buddha has really benefited sentient beings. Even in very short period of time, he has enlightened many living beings. For example, he has benefited even more sentient beings than the Peels, right? Even more than the peels of our land, or some, it's like that.
Dust,
The conquest. They solve on that.
Pena uman jupa corona song yores kare song re sena sangje gen tong tong je gen na semjin zhang me ba je la pen ta ne tharwa thop jik thogu yores pe cha yawa na zhang ka te zhang mong bo zhang ka te zombel ndiki sayoro say dur re da dur ke zhang do nyam ba te ne ya sangji semje to pen ta na ren ya yor song yores.
He has benefited so many sentient beings in the very short period of time. For example, the world, if we talk about the dust. Sorry, sand?
Sand or dust, just
Actually, it's very confusing for me how to say, the said example. Sand.
Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah, there is.
Okay, particle of sand.
Yeah, particles, you can see.
Grain, okay.
Usually use grains of the Ganges rivers, right? But particularly here, it actually mentioned the Madhyamaka. Within this text said that Buddha can benefit and liberate many sentient beings within very short period of time. The number of that is like the grains or dust or whatever within this world. So it's countless, right? We can't count. So we can't see how he's benefiting. We think only over 7 billion people, then where so much comes. But many planets, countless world and the universes we can't see. So Buddha is benefiting them. So activities are immense and measurable. within our capacity, our wisdom, our mind, we can't see because we are obscured. But his activities benefits are so great. That's why, of course, Candrakīrti, his great realized master, he knows that. So he mentioned in this text. So, and we can become same like Buddha Shakyamuni. So every one of us has Buddha nature, as I mentioned yesterday. We have opportunity, possibilities to become Buddha if we practice bodhicitta, right? So therefore, if we get enlightenment, once you enlightened for yourself, become Dhammakaya, right? Dhammakaya is a powerful source of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Once you get enlightenment, you become yourself Dhammakaya, right? And then manifest Sambhanga Karya, Nirmana Karya, and the Bodhisattvas, just like light coming out from the sun and moon, then benefit all sentient beings. From once, we may use a single wisdom, the Dhammakaya, manifest countless emanations come out from that, and benefit countless sentient beings. At that moment, when we enlightened, we do not need to think and put effort to, oh, I want to benefit this and that. No, it spontaneously will come out. Like when sun shines, the heatness goes to everywhere as long as you have the direction is okay, not direction towards the northern part, then sun's light cannot go in. But we have karmic link and aspirations from the past. We will receive the benefit of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, definitely, and we can benefit countless sentient beings. That's why bodhicitta is really, really, almost we cannot think like that, you know. When we think about bodhicitta, tears come out. Like, bodhisattva. If you practice bodhicitta, that means first you make wish, that means practicing the aspiration bodhicitta, that saying that all living beings be enlightened. And secondly, we have to practice that, like entering bodhicitta or application bodhicitta, second bodhicitta, practicing 6 perfections. So we practice, finally we will reach the first bhumi. At the moment, we are directly seeing emptiness. And that emptiness is not just empty and blank, but the essence of compassion. And the moment when we realized emptiness, the first bhumi attain, we will see that bodhisattvas can see, perceive all living beings needlessly they're suffering. Having sufferings, birth, death, old aging, sickness, losing what you want, and not meeting what you want to meet, and losing what you have gained. All of these things are actually illusion, right? So at that moment, when you reach first bhumi and when you have that kind of great wisdom, then bodhisattva can see all situations of 6 realms of beings. Needlessly, we are having sufferings because of self-clinging ego. Then bodhisattvas, compassion become powerful, no choice. He will be overmastered by the compassion. He will see all of these living beings without, needlessly they're having sufferings because of our ego, ignorance, not understanding the truth. Then, so we can become like that if we practice bodhicitta. So the first we have to practice the relative bodhicitta, and it will lead us to bring us to the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the first bhumi, that is the bottom, right, of the ultimate path. So that kind of ultimate bodhicitta will arise just through the accumulation merit and understanding the truth. Nothing we can bring, and none of master can transfer you that ultimate truth. So this is what we should think, what we should do, practice. As I mentioned you, if we know the benefit of bodhicitta, what is the bodhicitta, And how to practice is very important, right? Day-to-day life, so we should think in this, that, and remind yourself, ourselves, day-to-day life. Then, if once we habituate it, then not difficult, definitely not difficult. It comes naturally, and then finally we will get enlightenment. So, okay, if you have any question?
Good morning, Rinpoche. I have I have a question about Bodhisattva vows. If we haven't got it, as I understood, we cannot practice Tonglen. Yeah, and where to get this Bodhisattva vows?
First of all, thank you for recognizing me, Rinpoche, as Rinpoche. I didn't know you have power to recognize as Rinpoche. Just joking. It's okay to practice Tonglen without receiving the bodhicitta's vow, definitely. But the result or power is different. Practice of bodhicitta with vow, it will be very strong. You will get a very good benefit, right? But without, it's also, you can practice bodhicitta, definitely. And then the second answer,
Where to get them?
Yeah, where to get them? Holiness.
So it's I don't need like ask some teacher to make like ceremony like we take refuge and so on. This I mean.
Yes, one raw. Changcho semdante tambo lendu choranki lama chane lene yapo yores kansi juba yonki lame juba yonki ra tanda chane sangcho semdan len yapo yores pe na khaso ngaso wang nong dinda yena wang khade no na yong tambo semje gdom nango yores tik top yores choro toplo yapo jes ati mina yong sangcho semdan rang dambal len yak khorong zeram ro yores ra tinrole na digre trajo tan ma chang wa yena ong nong de khade na sangcho semdan nong da Toplograce. The top sabe jela, then Kaduna, Domba Yamba, the Dragama, Sancho Sam Domba, the Sam Domba Yamba Sonson, Dunjin Color, Magni, Java Sechima, Social Lane Chugres, Pena Sanji Chuso Motos and Landing as a Langua.
So, if you are taking the Bodhisattva's vow for the first time, it is better if you take from the masters, especially because who has the succession of getting the vows. And if you take that, that's a great. And especially even when Karmapa gave lots of empowerment and all, at that time there is a bodhicitta and refuse. At that time you can take. You have to just visualize at that time that you are taking bodhisattva's vows. And in other time, if you want to take, it's a bodhisattva vows itself is for our mind, right? So you can visualize yourself some Buddha, and you can receive that from that way as well.
Thank you.
Okay, it's important. The Bodhisattva's teachings said that it's very important for us to take Bodhisattva's vow again and again. At least some text said, 6 times a day and a night, 3 times a day, 3 times a night will be very good. And if not, then 3 times a day maybe, right? So you can visualize after you receive from master, the master who holds the lineage of the bodhicittas, then you can visualize Buddhas and Bodhisattvas like Chireze or whatever in front of you in person, in real form, not just image, right? You have to trust they are here, and then you are receiving bodhicitta from them again and again. You can chant like Sanji, Chu, Don, So, Chun, all these kind of prayers. If you don't know how to chant, but you can think and you are receiving bodhicittas from them. It's very good. Hello.
Hi, Rinpoche. First of all, thanks for the teachings and for the opportunity to listen to Dharma. And the question is, from Lena, from this lady. She got an email from the person who is in the jail currently, and the person asked to introduce in the Buddha teachings and to be a guide there, this. And Lena doubted she could be this guide, and she sent him some names of the books of Lama Ole, and she asked what is the best in this situation in addition she could do for this person who is in the jail now.
거기 대비서 동에레스라. 대비서 동인데 다 티가서 딜레 태와 거래저 탑사레스.
대파동
So if she says something, then is that person in the prison listens? Is the person in the prison is willing to listen to whatever she says or she recommends?
Yes, yes. Yes.
다 인다 타용에 다시 까물어 이내 공단나용 된 다당이 라바나이 셈바정부터 송초크셈 도서 지에네 되네 코랑 기능의 요나용 코랑단 던도 정호노 대고야 도서 제왕하면 레인지라 되네 도서 레레 somno 야고 동네 되네 로셈지 소통 수이나용 데다 이렇게 레잉이 그 등하는 용어 관계요나 되디 고추로 쇼선네 당랭게 미관다고 제라 당랭게 미관다고 제 레일 somno 당 셈바 독마사바시 가시 독사 데데그라 어테나 마사바시 네 레좀레 야고 소노 당 셈바 장보서바이나 되네 펜통 종그레스.
If that person in the prison listens to her, then maybe you can recommend him to practice some bodhicitta, as well as if he is suffering right now, that might be because due to his karma in the present or karma in the past. But having that sort of thought, he can generate more bodhicitta for other beings or other people in the world who are going through the same phase. So he shouldn't be downgrading or degrading his own motivation, but having that positive motivation, he can think for himself as well as for others. So if he practices this, then this can be very much beneficial.
Then leg no mi rest and so dengan yang je tu suti di korang tu suko ya po tomba hako chikni then lemre lejumre leg ndewe yimba hako bar cheni then dosani de dewa maipa then tan rowa sho semji thamchi dengan danda ko chon rowa ko sam semba zong buzog resto.
Most importantly, she can maybe teach something about the karma and cause and effect, so he will know it better. And as I just said before, not to be demotivated, but to be encouraged that many sentient beings or many people are facing so many sort of problem. May they all be liberated, or may they be free from whatever problem that they are facing due to their positive and negative karmas or anything. So in that way they can practice. And even like
taking and sending and taking.
It's also they can practice like he can imagine other person's pain, and they can change the expression or change the feelings. So that's also a good practice.
Can Rinpoche recommend some special books maybe for him?
The legendary call some don't only say yours. Wise and full sex. Wise and full.
If one wants to practice the cause and effect, then there is a book of Wise and Fools.
And in the Wise and Full, they mentioned about the karma. the result of karma, and the result of karma, he can read and understand how karma works. And the plus, such as like a Bodhicitta, talk about bodhicitta, and he can develop that right. So main point is it's very important to understand the karma, the law of karma, right? And in that way, then he can understand and he can accept it. Because of karma, he has to suffer such situation, and he can accept it. If he can accept it, then the pain from the heart of his situation will be less. So this is karma, right? And he won't blame to anyone else. He will be a little bit relaxed about that. Then plus, if you can practice like a bodhicitta and thinking that this is karma, and not only me, of course you can see many prisoners, right? So it's not only me, many of people have to suffer such situations. So generate kind heart that whoever need to be like me, be free from and that situation. My situation be behalf of all of these. So if you create this kind of, generate this kind of good heart, definitely will benefit for himself as well as others, and that will create good karma for next life or future. Once his karma finished, then he will release from the prison as well.
Tashidilek, dear Lama, thank you for your precious teachings. So I have a few layers of questions regarding the Bodhisattva vow. And the first layer would be like, is it possible to practice Dharma without taking the Bodhisattva vow? And the second layer is, if one takes the Bodhisattva vow and breaks the vow, like partially or fully, on different levels. Like there are many vows inside of the Bodhisattva vow. And if somebody were to break the vow, is it possible to redeem the breaking of the vow? Yeah, so these are the main questions.
Okay. It is good to take a vow, okay? Many people think that, okay, worry about, okay, if I take a vow, then if I broke down, then what will happen? So therefore, better not to take. It's not wise way of thinking. You should take, and you will get lots of benefit having the bodhicitta vow within your mind, whatever you practice. If based on that, it multiplies a lot, and it's advisable to take bodhicitta vow. Definitely, that for sure. Every teaching is mentioned that. And then second, if you break down it, vows, you should take again. Okay, it's good. We should take it. As I mentioned earlier, 6 times a day and night, something like that. You should take again, no problem. No problem means it's good to take again. And then plus, you have to do confession for that. You have break down, right? Because you have bad karma. Breaking down the vow. So you have to do confession for that, like chanting 35 Buddhas and chanting the Sutra of Akashgarbha. These are the very, very good and unique antidotes for whoever break down the Bodhisattva's vow. And then plus, of course, you can do Vajrasattva's practice with 4 forces. It's very important. With this, you can purify that bad karma, and you can restore the Bodhisattva's vow.
Could I have another question, a small one?
Okay, small size, okay.
So, and how do you know if you broke the vow or not? Like, for example, there is a line that you're not supposed to lie, for example. Like, do not tell not the truth or something like that. And how do you know, like, in the daily life, it's easy to like say something to prevent somebody else from doing something wrong, but in doing so, you can lie to this person. Like, how could you evaluate this situation?
It's mainly your heart, your mind, mainly your heart, or mind, okay. As long as you have a good heart, whatever you act by body, speech, but your intention is good, and your intention is not that being self-centered mind, and intention is not related with cheating others, harming others, malicious thoughts. If not, then should be okay. If you have these kind of things, then yes, it affects the bodhisattva svabha. Especially, of course, there is real, how to say, root downfalls. It called root downfalls, meaning that if you do these things, then your bodhisattva svabha will be broken down. So for example, cheating living beings is one. Cheating master and having very strong negative thoughts towards sentient beings. For example, if you think that you have an enemy, one person is going for you against, and if you think, okay, this person is going to be my enemy, I will never help him, even I can. If you have that kind of thought within your mind, then your bodhicitta svabha gone. So this is the example. So therefore, having thoughts of harming others is the worst thing against to the bodhisattva svabha.
Okay, thank you so much, Lama.
I think now getting late because you have a next class and you will be very tired. So we do a short meditation on bodhicitta, as I mentioned. Just you think in your mind or remind in your mind whatever I mentioned, later part, the practical way, and then do short meditation. So this kind of meditation is we call analytical type of meditation. Just we are using our mind to analyze things, benefit, and make wish, all of this. So therefore, you just think about it, and with your mind, whatever I mentioned in later part, so then you do meditation. May I become Buddha for benefit of all living beings. Whatever I practice, the merit accumulated from today's teaching, listening, contemplation of the body, speech, and mind become cause of enlightenment for benefit of all living beings. And merit accumulated from past and future, including present, may become cause for enlightenment of all living beings. May I become enlightened, benefit for all living beings, just like Buddha Shakyamuni. and all the Buddhas in the past, present and future. May I lead all living beings to the Buddhahood. May my actions of body, speech, and mind benefit for all living beings. May I and all living beings be enlightened, enlightened, enlightened. Okay, now dedication, the last part. May merit accumulation from today's practice of the Dharma, listening, contemplation, and meditation, together with merit accumulations of the 3 times Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arahats, and all living beings. I dedicate to enlightenment for benefit of all living beings. The Taraju Engineer Sebe gave it our day in Sebe, Dagi Sempi Tomji, Tusum to Sabe gave it our Chinese about on the Luigi to do the Nongo, Yombe Sempi Tomji to the Lana Manjiba, Yontapo, Sonji, Comburumboji, Topa Savage. Mo don malan sa malin je do no war sho sanom de ye tom je zikpa ni tom ne ni be dana pom je je ga nan che balan tro ba ye se be so le ro ro war sho sang cho sem cho rembo che ma che pa nam je je ba nyam ba me ba do ko ne gong do pe war sho. Okay, thank you.